Hello. Let's just get started. I have gonna be a lot of work tomorrow night. Just wanna get through this. Just see if this actually streaming. Uh, I think people can hear me unless OBS is still not responding. What is happening? I think I just need to let it. Actually fully open. Mm, that, I don't know. The emulator is not okay. It's opening now. It's just the startup is just really all right. There it is. Mm, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how stable it will be, but uh, when OBS crashed, I think it crashed the GPU driver as well. That place looks much worse. So I had to restart, and the restarting took a while. I think it's because I tried to make it by trying to speed up opening everything. I just inadvertently made things slow.
Oh, no, no, no. Sorry, timekeeper. Could you wait by the door? I just need to sort this out. There. That's better. Come in. Ah, maybe left foot
Okay.
first.
Let me just test my mic. Alright. I can hear it clearly. Well, let me see my Twitch because that one I have to. Alright, sorry. This is the correct name, correct title. Journal. Alright, let's start this. 100,000 billion sketches.
First.
I'm glad to see many enthusiastic students here for the last session of modern urban planning. I imagine you can't wait for summer break once this week ends, so I'll keep this short. This semester as a guest lecturer has been a joy, but I'm afraid this is probably the last time we'll meet in this classroom.
Oh.
Don't be like that. Once you've graduated, if any of you want to join our firm, I imagine we'll still have a chance to work together. So the second piece of bad news is why is that playing? Huh? How would you? Ah, I do fast share. What? What's that name? What's that supposed to be in English? Or at least in not transliterated in Chinese. That is very different. I tried to search it. Theodore, which something transliterated that, or at least translated that as that name. I'm not sure if it's just referencing that, but it's Dufashi. I don't know what it is, but I'm just gonna call you Du. Bob or Dufa. Bob, Dufa, and Michelle. You failed your final assignments. I'm afraid your vacation will be starting a little later than everyone else, but don't worry, you'll still have one chance to retake the exam. First, Bob, I'm relieved you're not the one in charge of uh, Los Angeles urban planning, or the whole downtown would already be jammed with pileups.
Uh,
Ma'am, I just thought that in the Los Angeles of the future, every American citizen would have their own car. So you got rid of every sidewalk in like they're making fun of you.
In the name of the good citizens of Los Angeles.
I declare you have failed. Oh no. Next. Dufa? Quite the imagination. Floating islands wrapped in tinfoil apartment towers made of glass domes. Unfortunately, the assignment was about urban planning, not illustrating a science fiction novel. Ma'am, I heard people found some wondrous substance on the moon that can make glass stronger than concrete. Uh, the name is bothering me. So I'm trying to search what possible name it could be. Different. Might just be too fashy. And it's something French or something. A French origin. That's all you do, fa. It'll be easier for me to pronounce.
Like,
Maybe in the not so distant future, 2062 perhaps, our cities will really look like this. Alright, you make a fair point. So when 2062 rolls around, I'll come hobbling on a cane and personally give you an A plus.
No.
But for now, no. Oh, and last, Michelle. Um. Oh, it's you, Dufa. Unfortunately, I won't be the one handling your retake. You'll have to go to the office and ask those old men in applications open. No, you sure? I was just curious. What do you think the buildings of the future will look like? Me?
No idea. First,
Perhaps in your eyes, I'm an expert in architecture and urban planning. Who's independently designed a few projects of her own.
even so,
But a city is a unit made up of people, and its path of growth can't do without the choices people make on their own accord. Maybe just like you said, some brand new material will emerge in the future, and people will choose a design style that looks a little frivolous. Going from shock to acceptance would only take about 30 years.
who knows?
Of course, it's also possible that 30 years from now, people will still find brutalist design terribly fashionable. Who can say? Thank you, ma'am. By the way,
Have you finished your design for the monument?
Huh?
hey, you can't just get back at me like this because you failed that class. Sleep on a couch long enough, and one day you'll roll right off it. And I never failed a single class in school, so I don't know who you were talking to in your sleep. Oh,
Wonderful.
drafting paper, more drafting paper, carbon paper, coffee beans. That's enough to build a wall with. A ruler you snapped in your sleep. Were you using these discarded wraps as a blanket? I recall your standards for living conditions used to be higher than this. They do a decent job of keeping you warm. Proposal representing the storm through silk threads and strings of beads. A cemetery design around a cluster of recumbent gravestones, an umbrella to shelter from the rain.
Honestly,
Mm. Frankly, I think all these monument proposals are quite good. but not one of them satisfies me.
I already told you.
That- no, fuck. Real. She's building a monument about a storm. And the stuff she's coming out with is silk threads representing the storm. And an umbrella sheltering people from the rain. Hope I remember, it was a foundation who commissioned you to design a storm disaster monument to honor those who perished in the first storm and those who made tremendous contribution helping us get through it. Your first duty is to satisfy the foundation. Never mind. As long as the final result is good enough, how much effort you pour into it is your own business.
So,
Where's the final drop?
Well, I knew it.
Do you happen to remember what day the deadline was? The day after tomorrow. Yesterday. You're not a child, you're here to work. Sign a formal contract with the foundation. A delay upstream causes enormous trouble for everyone downstream, trying to get the actual implementation underway. I would think you understand that much. What's wrong with you? I don't want to treat this subject carelessly. Do you remember the dorm we restored together a while back?
so,
I haven't gone senile. That was only a few months ago. Those who perished in the storm. Those who made outstanding contribution to helping us get through the storm. My mind always drifts to my family and to that dome. But they're not the whole of the storm. My perspective must still be missing something, or I wouldn't only be capable of science this shallow, this narrow. So what you're saying is, if you plan to sit in your room, meditating until inspiration gets lonely enough to come knocking on its own. Hello. Here I thought I sat through a 4-hour flight to come inspect a finished result. Cloudflare. It's just a Cloudflare page. It's a fully static page. I'm not editing it. I'm using a framework there. Uh, so it's not as hard as I'm not actually editing each HTML file. Nobody does that anymore. Every single part of it is every single information is stored in markdown files and JSON or JavaScript variables. The images are hosted in Cloudflare too. Some images are hosted in R2 in Cloudflare. I would get like 10, I think 10,000 images. Is it 10,000 images or 20,000 images for free to upload there? I haven't reached 1,000 yet, I think. And there's another part which is completely separate. There's another part where I store images. It's a completely separate website, just storing images itself. So it's a static site that's just store images in the public folder of it. Because that one is limited now by the repository, or how much, I think. Yeah, oh, the Cloudflare R2 is actually the one limited by size. Where am I? Anyway, I'll go back and rearrange the schedule with the foundation and try to buy you about another man. This is your last chance. People have been suggesting me a Discord server, but I'll see what I can do, but I'm not the one gonna be managing it. If somebody wants to, I might do it. It's not gonna be active at all. It's just gonna be much better than DMing me because, yeah. Really? And the price for that? Sharp as ever. The price is that I need to head straight back to the foundation right now, and talk to the project lead, filling this month's schedule with preliminary work that doesn't require the design drop. But I was originally supposed to go to Barcelona to help the local foundation field office handle a small problem. I'll take care of it.
Wonderful.
By the way, the flight to Barcelona takes off in an hour. If you grab my ticket and papers right now, and run right now, you can still make it. Does it have to be a plane? I really am rather afraid of. Never mind. Anyway, I owe you one. Oh,
Wait.
has she slept at all these past few days? Gameplay, 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 game, and one, two. It's just gameplay for course. One. Burning from both ends. Detached, professional, meticulous. That guy's just talking like that. Uh, on an earlier stream, it's a full-on conversation. I thought I told that if it gets too much, they will actually get uh timed out. Hello. It just looks funny. It's just role playing as someone like that. I forgot what uh patch it is. I think 3.5 you should look at the character story. 3.5 or 3.4. There's a whole side story about that. With the, on the chat. There's just something funny say reading the chat. I need ideas for a profile picture with you having literally the default profile picture on YouTube.
Excuse me.
Sorry, is there some kind of scout camping event going on here today, or is it something else?
Miss Grundris.
This foundation stuff is named uh Lucella. Rosella. Bro is just gonna pick his a bit or something. Something that they're saying. This is a long story.
I'm Cornerstone.
What the hell? Oh, my mistake. I swap assignments with your Miss Grundris. On short notice, I'll finish handling the handover shortly. Anyway, I'm here to help you. Whatever difficulties you're facing, just tell me.
Thank goodness.
As you know, only the architectural zone and at the headquarters can shelter us through the storm, but we still need to establish offices around the world to carry out the Foundation's duties. Whether to make use of the existing buildings or construct a Foundation office from scratch is something our colleagues have disagreed on. So we applied the Foundation for this plot of land to test feasibility of building our own office from the ground up.
Oh.
You made bird songs. Even the spiders and lizards seem lively. This is a really nice spot. And most importantly, it's very close to the airport, which lets us retreat back to the headquarters as group as at the fastest possible speed before a storm hits. A good location beats everything else.
So...
But you mentioned buildings other than headquarters. Yes, currently headquarters is the only place in the world with the property of being the point irreversible, ma'am.
Miss Grundris.
Still calling it Miss. She's still calling her Miss Crunches. Back to the matter at hand, because of the uncertainty of when a storm might fall. Have you read 3.6? I think Enigma mentioned, or at least I think, if I remember correctly, I should remember it. A lot of the areas or things that be related to how immunity over the storm is have relatively extended periods of deity worship. Something on the foundation headquarters and also the weather dubs, shelter dubs, have some sort of similar power to that. Something uh, related, most likely, to the what's that guy's name? Philosopher something. It's not really. I don't think it's strictly deity worship. I think it's building more appropriate to say belief, collection of beliefs, because there's also not much worship on Dispatch story on Nova Mietz, but there's a lot of people beliefs of people that has uh, literally been gathered through the stones of the building, through echoes and their wishes, and that's enough to make this area immune. That's also part of the apparent thing, belief. When some of the apparent members' beliefs shattered on chapter 7, literally their immunity zone shrunk. Casting incantations is like basically that you're gathering energy from the world to make something else, and the equilibrium umbrella is essentially still very similar to that. The foundation must have found a way to transfer this, uh contain it using shelter dubs. Back to the matter at hand, because of the uncertainty of when a storm might fall, this building uses prefabricated slab structure which allows it to be completed within 2 weeks. Oh, I'm quite familiar with this kind of building. My childhood was spent in a neighborhood made up of this. It has a more widely known name, the tube-shaped apartment block.
Yes.
I see.
Alright, so that brings me to, I have a pretty good idea what I'm what I'm here to do. The building must have developed some safety issue and become structurally unsound, forcing all of you to take shelter outside for the time being. Honestly, I think you should We put up in a hotel at a time like this. Anything's better than fighting lizards for food out here. The nearest hotel is 70 kilometers away, ma'am. Huh. Inspecting structural hazards, checking a building's load-bearing structure. This really is my colleague's area of expertise. But don't worry, I hold the same qualifications. Just leave this to me.
Miss Grundris.
Just
I'm Cornerstone.
actually, there's nothing wrong with the office main structure. What? Are you familiar with ghosts, so-called poltergeists, or whatever you'd like to call them? I even have quite a few ghost friends. Oh, that's wonderful. That's blueprint. It's blueprint. Not blueprint. A lot more close to her English name. German name. What the German means. Word mean. Uh, what we asked headquarters for was an investigator with both experience hunting ghosts and an architect's qualification to help us resolve this anomalous incident. So headquarters recommend this Grundris to us. A ghost? I don't understand why you'd need an architect who knows about ghosts. The Foundation should have no shortage of arcanists skilled in exorcism. You should to them for help. You're right. The moment the poltergeist phenomena appeared, we followed the guidelines in the handbook for office hauntings and contacted the nearest exorcist.
But
What kind of translator are you guys putting? Sophia became. Oh, 37 is calling her Fia, isn't it? That's why it's becoming translated into that. Because there's no way her name as just full Sophia is gonna become translated into that. That's correct. Piscum album. That's the full thing, which is a species of mistletoe. That's her name. But they were all grabbed by the collar and thrown out of the building. Did they say anything about what happened inside the building? Only one sentence. The powerful ghost said, "Bring me someone who knows how to build houses."
I see.
Perhaps I really did misunderstand the nature of this job at first, but don't worry. All of this is still within my area of expertise. I think Kiperina's name is actually just uh putting like a cute term of saying hyperbole. Oop, wrong one. Which is what Kiperina is the name Kiperina is from. Elizabeth's Chinese name makes translating some jokes from regarding that a little awkward. And Star antimony is not Barcarola, it's Regulus. Barcarola's name is just transliteration. I have plenty of experience dealing with these mischievous, ill-intentioned little things. Little things that like to eat erasers and drafting papers. Most of them aren't so different from you, but children.
Miss Grundris.
you, your words put me in mind of this. Because what the next line is, I'm Cornerstone.
I'm Cornerstone.
By the way, did you prepare a tent for me? You know what name is pissing me off? Sasuke's name in Japanese is just using her Chinese name, which is definitely doesn't read Satsuki. Or coffee. Anything that can substitute for sleep will do. I think I may not have slept in a few days. My heart feels like it's pounding against my ribcage, saying something I can't quite make it out. But that sounds important. Something like cardiac arrest warning. Oh my goodness. But you look you actually look fine. That's incredible. Thanks. Showing up bright and radiant to meet clients after a week of no sleep is required. It's a required course for any architect. A designer who looks sickly and weary can't hold their ground. Understood? You can head to tent number 7 on your right. Its original occupant returned to the Foundation headquarters yesterday. Our investigation can begin again tomorrow. You're very understanding.
It'll be fine.
I really need to go to Eros. See you in 11 hours.
Miss Grundris.
Sweet dreams.
I'm... Forget it.
Good night. Oh, I see. Just dreaming again. But it's this classroom that keeps coming back again and again, like an echo in my dreams. There are no tedious officials here nitpicking my amateur aesthetics. There are no shameless businessmen here fighting over prime real estate while ignoring planning and reason. I don't think of myself as the kind of arcanist who suffers from trauma or who chews over painful scenes again and again in her dreams. A lot of people like the mini games. I don't know. There's obviously some people would hate some mini games, but for the most part, they like the inclusion of it because they brought it back. I think they mentioned that's exactly why they brought it back. Well, maybe the architect's licensing exam counts, sort of. I always dream of that I got back to the exam hall without my admission ticket. The thing is, the other version that doesn't have the minigame, it's just kind of really tedious to do. I think people really hate that more. The combat stuff on the but an architect is in the end A profession that leans toward loving the future.
Yes, the future.
Why won't you have this? This name is bothering me. Dufa. Dufa Shay. This might be some French. I don't know if it's actual French. I really want them to have a voice line for the name. Uh, you've never once talked about your own work. I never got to see it with my own eyes either. So I've come again. Would you tell me about it? The first work I designed independently after leaving my apprenticeship was a warehouse. Honestly, compared to a library, a theater, a government office, it needed no sense of beauty, no concept. All it needed was a compliant storage space, placed on a plot of pre-planned land. But even so, I still messed up. A few years after that, what really gave me a bit of pain was a park, not a building. No, architects can do far more than you think. I think having no profile picture with a name like John Doe is perfect. Uh, Architects can do far more than you think. But anyway, I put up an observation deck there, one that even I find a little gaudy and frivolous. Looking back at it, and its shape drew quite a crowd. After that, I gradually gained the standing to strike out on my own, away from the firm, and even ended up in magazines. The newspaper used words I couldn't quite understand to sum up my design style. Are they still around? Not anymore, dear. It's 1987 now. They vanished into the rain together with all of you. Yes. In the future too.
The future.
The things that vanish into the rain. The things that help all of you get through the rain. The things you wanted to carve into the wet cement to remember. It isn't only old things that are dying. In the storm, the things that were new, the things that should have been born, the things that belong to the future. They perished too.
Like a twig, burning from both ends.
Fifth encounter. Reading Cornerstone's story while drinking a lot of coffee myself. Alright. Miss Cornerstone, she said it right. Miss Cornerstone and I have arrived inside the main structure of the Foundation's subordinate office. We're in the reception area. No poltergeist activity for the moment.
Attention, everyone.
Everyone else, please carry the standard ritual prepared nitrogarlic extract, load it into your standard issue Foundation exorcism equipment, and stand by the south entrance. Miss Cornerstone, we're ready. The name is Rosella. Roselia? Probably Rosella. Based on the pronunciation, probably Rosella. Based on the Chinese characters. How reassuring.
So,
The ghost, it won't show itself on its own. Although no, it actually makes sense. Yeah, Rosella exists, or maybe not. I can't find. Wait, there it is. It exists in Spain. So it's probably Rosella with a single L. Because if it's double L, it's just gonna be. Unless she's not from here. Could be. Just the foundation being everywhere. In some other movies I've seen, a ghost like this usually uses invisible hand to grab the victim's neck or quietly slips something sharp into their arteries. It's a bit too quiet in here. Doesn't it ever communicate with you?
No.
It never tried to communicate with us using language. But I'm certain that if we blindly go searching through the building, the horrible things that happened to me and my colleagues will happen again. Being clobbered with a 5 centimeter thick employee handbook. Worse, it bats you around like a ping pong ball.
All right then.
A little trick I just picked up in Novomiet. Might come in handy here. Do you mind if I use an arcane skill here? I don't mind, but you'll need to explain the occasion and the reason for its use, ma'am.
I see.
Alright, my friend told me that ghosts are usually beings tied to the past, and it's not uncommon for a ghost to be attached to a building or some other object. To find out what it looks like, all I need to do is ask the building itself. Whatever the shape, geometry wants to become will honestly reveal itself through its silhouette. Coyote? A cube? A crescent moon?
First,
I just need to find the thought that can fill in the outline of brick and stone. Oh, that's bigger than I thought. Huh? So one. Oh, this is for. Just do that. I thought it's gonna be like, why do I have only this?
This is it.
Monitor. This is the office monitoring room. From here, we can use the cameras to see every corner of the building. You can also use the intercom over there to broadcast into the building. This is exactly what I need. No need for an arcanist who can communicate with ghosts. No need for a third category arcane frequency. This is a set of vocal organs tailor-made just for you. Oof. Now say hello to everyone. I feel like you guys are starting to make a trend or something. If you put that on Twitter, that's gonna spread.
Hello.
What's going on, Miss Cornerstone? I've communicated with this building. There's no ghost here. The problem is the building itself.
You mean...
Understand now. What? Our office main structure, as in a rare occurrence, became unawakened. Is that my name? No, you can have a name of your own choosing. Probably has a core somewhere in the building. That's just connected to a little bit.
Well,
This is your toughest battle yet. Sending the entire building. Uh Alright. A fairy tale about chatting with a living being building. Feels a little unbecoming of my age. Um could you not use your arcane skill to drive out people living inside your body? A building is an integration of humanity's living space. They need somewhere to work and live.
I won't.
These arcanist humans living inside my body. It's very uncomfortable. Garlic talismans, pendulums, refined salt, very comfortable. Stop throwing these things at me.
Oh.
That temper is exactly like an old friend of mine. I sincerely apologize to you in their behalf. Just an apology.
All right then.
Uh, the collab is gonna be at the same time as uh global for both servers. Let me think. Let me repaint your exterior. Just how long is that chat? I just responded to it. There's no time on. Because I should make it. I should put this here because the Twitch chat is. Will repaint your exterior, enforce your structure, extend your service life, or would you like a more lavish interior design style? Miss Cornerstone, we don't have that kind of budget. Humans measuring others by their own narrow standards again. You mean you seem to know a lot, but in theory, you were only just born. Is this some trait of awakened beings?
I see.
It only takes a year to become a qualified accountable agent and legal laborer. I think I suddenly understand why Foundation has so many employees who'd rather not carry around a proper human head. Would rather not carry around a proper human head. Like I said, I need someone who understands how to build houses.
Yes.
So I came. And I heard you needed someone who understands architecture. I assumed I assumed you might need an architect to maintain or optimize your body. But you yourself just denied that. Teach me. Teach me how to build a house. You don't even have hands. Oh, your arcane skill, if you can toss dozens of healthy adults around like toys, then handling construction all on your own probably isn't hard for you.
Even so.
Though, as from safety assessment standpoint, I really wouldn't recommend it. If you can teach me, maybe I'll let you all move in. I know that's how many people make deals. Maybe I ask why? Well, sounds like we have no choice. The Foundation probably can't get its hands on a second plot of land with a location this good, and these days, tearing down a building can apparently even count as premeditated meditated murder. Um, how long does it take for someone with no relevant education to become a licensed architect? Going by local rules, I'd guess about 5 years of theoretical study plus 1 year to obtain a license. I I don't think we can wait that long. Perhaps we should reconsider this whole farce. It was never realistic to build expect a building fully serving as a foundation office to go up in 2 weeks. It was bound to fail. And then, as if for some joke, our test building suddenly became an awaken. I don't think we have any reason left to keep grinding away here like it's some kind of joke. This building, the land and concrete, it's made of our foundation, our foundation property. Concrete's made of our foundation property. Without us, it would, it never would have existed at all. There's no reason whatsoever to refuse us to let us move in. And you're saying our every move is being sensed? Then I don't intend to go back inside either. That's disgusting. You agree with them, Miss Cornerstone?
Yes.
Rationally speaking, that's the best option. The build time and service life of a prefabricated slab building may perfectly fit the foundation's need for a temporary office. But if the storm keeps dragging us backward through time, perhaps one day we'll arrive in an era where prefabricated slab technology doesn't even exist. Speaking only from my own shallow experience as an architect, I think making use of existing local buildings would better serve the foundation's operational needs across different eras, while also helping us blend into a familiar local communities. Oh, I have no aspirations of becoming a secret agent. This is just something I picked up in Novamets.
So,
My choices.
why not?
Sooner, sooner or later, we will arrive in an era where even concrete has never existed. I'm going to teach a class for this building. I'll teach it the most basic architectural theory, and while I'm at it, I'll try to convince it to accept your moving in. It's a task that be finished before the next storm falls. Miss Cornerstone? I know my thinking here isn't logical, and it isn't necessary either. It is only in this moment that I realize I really am an arcanist, even when there's no reason to it at all. Uh, Whenever passion calls me to act, I always let it have its way with me. I understand. I'm with you, Miss Cornerstone. But this is just one person's stubbornness. Now it's two. Miss Tasha, as the officer in charge of the Foundation's temporary Barcelona office, I'm willing to lead every staff member here in helping you see this trust through.
Huh?
You never mentioned you were compared to you. I'm probably still a nobody. I don't know what to tell you. It's an awakened building. Maybe your building also awakened. That's why the power went off. The ghost is the building. There's no ghost. It's the thing that is bothering them is the building. Compared to you, I'm probably still a nobody. When I first heard this plan, I couldn't help think it's just like most of the plans Arcanists come up with. No basis for implementation, no real practicality. But I have to admit, I want to see the Foundation offices bloom in every corner of the earth so we don't have to just watch so many things from behind the curtain of rain. Maybe going the other direction, making use of buildings already suited to Foundation use in a given era, really is the wiser choice. But I don't want to give up on the other possibility, even if it's doomed to fail.
I see.
What is architecture?
I imagine about half the students would answer drawing nice looking houses. Unfortunately, that was my thinking too back in the day. The students who read biographies of legendary architects would say talent, gift, inspiration, aesthetics. Even arcanists who wouldn't believe such intangible words could put up a compliant, safe, modern high rise. So, what do you think architecture is? Me.
I'm just a building.
Well, that works too. Let me think how to explain this. Architecture is a spatial unit that humans create to meet a need. Because there's a need for a place to eat, we need dining halls. Because there's need for aesthetic activity, need heaters. Whether it's savoring food or savoring love. So then, I too am a unit created to serve humans or arcanists. You don't like that definition? I think I first need to know what I once was before I can imagine what I'll become in the future.
The future.
Can you control the pen in my hand? Like this? Press the pen gently onto the rocking paper. Move it and you can draw a straight line. Looking south from here, toward Barcelona, there are countless homes and other functional buildings. Try drawing the building you'd want to design.
I'll try.
Actually, I quite like this prize you read out award winner. I drew it very badly, didn't I?
Well, um,
Maybe you still need a pair of human arms, like the other awakened I've seen. But Grundress says their true bodies are all small and compact, not 12-meter tall residents. I'm afraid armor that colossal in humanoid form only exists in science fiction. Sure, could you show me how to use these drawing tools?
Why not?
One, honestly, probably one. Oh no, I just need. Today we won't be discussing falling water. What's the time? 9.5 a day. Or how Parisian block planning organically fused artistry with historical weight. And of course, we won't be gossiping about the love lives of those famous architects either. Actually, um, after all, I'm actually a bit tired today. So I'll hand this session over to you. Everyone can share, talk about what kind of buildings you'd like to build in the future.
Why not?
So it doesn't go quiet, let me break my own rule and briefly talk about mine first.
When I was a kid,
Wait a minute. Uh, uh, distribution of nouns. It's right there. Hmm. When I was a small child, I lived in a small community in a distant corner of Eastern Europe. For all of you here, this should be a very unfamiliar name, Novamiets. Ever Echo is kind of a continuation of the event story, so you're much a better experience if you combine both. And then the most common houses there were rows and rows of tube-shaped or ornate blocks, the so-called prefabricated slab housing. I imagine you all know what its defining traits are. A terrible shape, terrible soundproofing, terrible service life. I hated that place. Honestly, my biggest hobby as a child was drawing beautiful houses. But, teacher, you said in the very first class that architecture isn't about drawing beautiful houses.
Yes.
And anyone's reason for taking their first step can be a foolish one. So, what about you, Dufa? I think buildings these days are all pretty boring. Just like how the Corbusier invented brutalism, I hope I can invent a less boring architectural style someday.
Well, um...
First of all, I don't think brutalism was invented by uh Le Corbusier. No single visual style, no single aesthetic wave is ever the credit of one lone architect. The blending of military, industrial design language in civilian industry, and the emphasis on practicality, and the use of the new building materials, these are usually considered the foundation from which brutalism emerged.
Like,
The tube-shaped apartment block.
yes.
Of course, a new design language will always emerge eventually. I'm just saying it won't be invented out of thin air. New things drive the emergence of new design. Architectural designs absorb everything equally. The poverty caused by war, the cold that emerged from prosperity. These concrete surfaces, originally left untreated for the sake of cost, maybe one day they won't be considered beautiful anymore. And brutalism, like the secession, will watch its own era fade into the distance. Will become something that can only be appreciated, never again understood. Do you look forward to that future arriving? Actually, I consider myself a fan of brutalism, so of course I don't look forward to that future arriving. But it'll come eventually, and new designs, new landmark buildings will definitely emerge too. They're definitely a building like the first generation Mac, one that ends up uh first generation Mac, one that ends up called computer cubism. The aviation industry will replace the traces of the military industrial complex left in our design language, and the internet will bring maximalism back into our field of view. I don't know about that. It didn't help us. Maximalism. Teacher, we all want to design buildings that stand out. But if every single one of us designs something unconventional, that mean unconventional becomes another kind of mediocrity? Good question. This is a red canvas. If you had to paint a new color on top of it, which one would you choose? Ultramarine? Use yellow? Maybe egg white? Would work too. Yes, none of those are wrong because it's only by painting a different color that the brush strokes reveal its meaning. But the color we choose is built on top of the red that was already there. And so called unique building doesn't mean the designer's thinking was somehow rebellious ahead of its time or bursting with talent. Without the red accumulated by the previous generation, the red would all be grown used to, the so called unique or novel, would lose the very premise for its existence. I think I understand now. So you're saying everything around us that we've grown accustomed to, to nurture to nurture the birth of a new.
Yes.
So before you truly become a licensed architect, I hope you'll do a better job studying how everything around you came to be the way it is now. Maybe they're old-fashioned, maybe they're boring, but the moment they were first born, they too were something excessively novel and some something unaccepted. The cycle of the new and the old will go on forever. You'll grow up and I'll grow old. No, nothing really lasts forever.
I didn't get to grow old. You didn't grow up either.
Even though we were just teacher and students who crossed paths by chance. Teacher, I'm fine. Using chalk really was the right call. You basically grasped how to reduce the building shape down to geometry.
First,
I'll ask my colleagues to find you some materials, and next we'll build a model to test whether this design is feasible. If its load-bearing structure doesn't collapse at model scale, we can tentatively consider the design safe and sound. Of course, in practice, it's definitely not this simple, or I wouldn't have a meticulous supervisor colleague. Do you think this is a good building? I mean, does it look like me?
Huh?
You? There are some serious errors in the shape and proportions. But why would you draw yourself? I mean, you've already been built, haven't you?
I'm searching.
But I don't know what I'm searching for either. Maybe something similar to me? I don't have I don't have feet, so I have no way to go to the sea like Baba Yaga's hut. So all I can do is build the thing I'm searching for. Understand. So more than designing a new house, you'd rather restore what yourself once was. But maybe the construction drawings used back then are still preserved here somewhere. Seems like there's more to look for now. I don't want the construction drawings.
I want to see myself.
See yourself? I've always been curious how you see us, but the moment I realized you can only communicate here, where the microphone is set up, I think I understand a bit better. You can only see the world through your surveillance cameras. So to you, this building is the entirety of the world you can perceive.
Yes.
Maybe you've learned a lot of things through the office computers. but what you can actually see is still just few small fixed regions on the screen. Even I am just a blurry figure in your field of vision. Yes, without one giant mirror, I don't think I'll ever see anything more than these few small rooms in my entire life. Are you feeling sad for me?
You've enlightened me.
Sad? No, no, no. I just suddenly figured something out. Class dismissed. I'm going to carry out some sort term flexible construction work. Teacher, don't worry. My hands-on skill were among the best back in the university too. Are you ready to go see the world outside? Psychedelic Subroka. That's the name. You know, I think I might be able to uh put OST uh prompts thing on the transcript, but the thing is it's gonna have the the names of it's gonna have the uh, uh game file names instead of their actual names, so it will take time because I would most likely need to map out their file names to their actual released song names, or if they're not releasing an album like that one Enigma's team, the complete induction music was never released. I'm pretty sure uh, it's gonna be written so you can search about it. I need to map out their OST names to their going file names. Let's see, because a lot of people have been really wondering. That's like the most common question: what song played here? What song played here? And I feel like that would be helpful. Once the foundation confirmed exactly what era we were in, there were two places I'd always wanted to visit. First, of course, was Marcel. Marcial. Is that Marcial? The apartment building, Le Corbusier, designed for it, has, in this era, been granted the honor of being an architectural heritage site. I couldn't miss out on that excitement. The second, I think, would be Barcelona. The German pavilion designed by Ludwig Mies, Ludwig Mies van der Rohe has been fully rebuilt, and people say it's just like stepping back into 1929. This is a good era for someone like me who consider herself a fan of brutalism. Everything I champion has been recognized by the times. Granted, this standing of a style representing the past 50 years. At the same time, it this is also not long after the first generation Mac was went on sale. It has a long way to go before it becomes what people call a classic, let alone uh, being used as inspiration for design. What is it? What is this? This is a residential design uh, drawing inspiration from computer farms. One of my students once brought up an idea like this. I believe it would suit the future and technology feel you asked for. This is absolutely absurd. We flew all the way here because we saw those beautiful concrete buildings in your portfolio. Like those libraries, those theaters, things uh, the Soviets once wanted to monopolize but can't even build anymore. Those were technology, that was the future. I'm sorry. We only went back a little over a decade. Honestly, that's not enough to turn the world upside down. Our high rises didn't turn into castles. The guards didn't turn into knights, and the arcanists weren't dragged up into straw fires to be burned. But this era still feels foreign to me. Yeah, nothing worth making a fuss over. Since I'm an architect from 1999, my designs simply don't belong to this era. Miss Rosella, what exactly is going on here? Everyone, feed out a little more line. This cornerstone will hit the maximum length. This is every last bit of table reserved the office has.
That'll do.
This is, this is completely reckless.
That's too far.
What's she been doing? You're just letting an arcanist run wild like this? Let's just watch quietly for now. Height. The image of data traveled back along the kite string, and the building saw the distance clearly for the first time. I can see it. It's beautiful. So this is what looking out means. Countless buildings, countless humans, all living out there.
Thank you, Professor.
No need to thank me. Just hold me steady with your arcane skill. Falling from up here would probably snap my neck. Whoa. I thought being an architect meant I wouldn't be afraid of heights. I'll set you down now. We've linked up all the transmission lines, so now you can use your arcane skill to control the camera whenever you like. Whether it's admiring yourself like a mirror, or looking out at the scenery around you. It should be much easier now.
Thank you.
I think I need to apologize for driving all of you out. So you finally realize we're not the same malicious people who who mean you harm. It's not that. I just felt so exhausted by it all. When I first opened my eyes, all I could see was a handful of small worlds: the archive room, cafeteria, countless offices poorly soundproof dormitories, and lobby that never gets any visitors. I watched you all in silence for a long, long time. I don't have eyeballs. I have no way of looking away to look away. I have no way to leave this place. But I'm a house. Maybe this kind of work is simply my calling. One day, I found it unbearable. I suddenly wanted so badly to be somewhere quiet with no people around. So,
It'll be fine.
there are plenty of Kenny's at the foundation just like you. The trouble caused after their consciousness emerges is no smaller than this. I'm so relieved to see this end on such an harmonious note. Humans and building able to reach an understanding and solve the conflict between them. I think Vizcana would be glad to know about this little episode too. I'll be sure to write your contribution into the report, Miss Cornerstone.
Oh,
I know she's helped us a great deal in with the Novamiets matter too. But our lesson isn't finished, is that you said you wanted to build a building just like you. I think that was because I felt lonely. So I wanted a playmate exactly like me.
Isn't it?
But I understand now. It probably wouldn't be able to talk like I do, just like every other silent building on the land, right?
Yes.
Buildings are, for the most part, lifeless objects. The coverture describe a building in as a machine for living in. Modern philosophy, philosophy's engagement with architecture is also built on treating human consciousness as the absolute subject. So that doesn't matter anymore. Can we get to know each other again? Can we be friends? Maybe you could educate me from the start. I can dig up any material, any tool for you, and deliver it to your hands at top speed with my arcane skill, just like a living witch hut. That must be quite an enviable sight.
So,
Looks like my job here wrapped up rather smoothly.
thank you.
This Cornerstone. No. Actually, I only ended up here because I couldn't finish my work on time. I know. Foundation wants to put up a memorial for the temporal anomaly. 3 months ago, I had absolutely no idea what I was supposed to commemorate or mourn. But now I built up plenty of new ideas I can actually convince myself of. Not just family, pioneers, volunteers, and tragedy. You've had your own eureka.
Yes. I hope.
My design will make people think of more than just things about the past. I have a ghost friend, and the echoes she weaves endlessly mourn the things of the past. The things about to vanish. I want to follow her example, remind people of another thing that's just as lost as the future. Oh, we lost the year 2000. Along with it, we lost the next generation of computers, the chance to glimpse the far side of the moon. New designs, design philosophies, and aesthetic waves. So many designs that should have been broken from tradition, meant to be created in the year 2000 and beyond. Now they've all been severed behind the rain, along with everything else we mourn. You're starting to sound like a soldier. Is that so? If some general out there wants to reclaim our future someday, I'll be the first one to pick up a shovel and help dig the trenches. But before that, even the surroundings we've grown used to have already vanished in here and now. As a designer from 1999, I want to keep walking as much as I can along the correct timeline. I think it would be pretty cool to hand the new millennium's visual trend up to the medieval folk, up to some medieval folk. So no matter where we end up drifting in the future,
Architecture is eternal.
the birth of architecture. After the last horrific temporal anomaly, we've been working hard to push forward reforms at the administrative level. Of course, it is called the storm now. This is the first drop of the uh, storm shelter notice. We're planning to work with Laplace to develop a harsh, strange sound design to draw maximum attention from both humans and arcanists. Maybe this notice can save more foundation stuff during the next storm. Take a look for yourself.
Hmm.
Restrictions on weight of personal belongings, how to handle unregistered personal emergency response procedures for storm syndrome infection. I've heard Laplace is also researching arcane-based methods of transportation. Oh, so kids like your architect friend who love running around out there can make it back to headquarters as safely as possible. Kids, kids. We're talking about 2.7. Kids like your architect friend, which is a 28-year-old woman, by the way. Last time, a group of investigators couldn't make it back to the headquarters before their plane landed. Their bodies twisted up and turned into tangled mass of wires right there on the plane. Thankfully, before the crashing plane hit the ground, the rain had already washed away everything. Mr. Irenai assured me that everything will get back on track. Scanna. Scanna. I've heard the Besetsk launch site has already begun a planned relocation of personnel and projects back to the local branch office. Does that mean we can't say for certain yet? That's just based on the anomaly report of arcane energy sent data sent over by Laplace. There's no need for investigators who can retreat to headquarters at any time to act so cautiously. There have been several reports like this over the past few months, but in the end, none of them turned out to be a sign of an incoming storm. I imagine Madame Constantine herself is also eagerly looking forward to some method of predicting exactly when a storm will fall. Hmm, that's not what I meant.
I see.
I understand you're worried about Cornerstone. If you insist on putting it that way, alright. I really would like to know whether you've informed Cornerstone in advance that the storm might fall soon. She's still out sightseeing in Barcelona right now. Given how scatterbrained she is, I worry she won't find the edge of the airport by the time the storm hits. The Barcelona office location was chosen precisely because it is the most convenient commute currently available. As long as she boards the chartered plane the moment the storm warning is issued, there's an extremely high chance of flying directly to a runway need her near headquarters within 2 hours.
Well then,
I was overthinking it.
Grundris.
I'm afraid Grinders's worry isn't so unfounded. Mr. Aranai, I hear you've been getting rather close with Miss Canna lately. And sure enough, here you two are together. I'm only here to ask about the storm.
We've just received news.
Perfect timing. Then, hear this. Laplace has already sent a warning. The next round of storm will fall within the next 2 to 3 hours. It's time to send the notice out to the investigators under our charge. Thank you for coming to let me know in person. It's nothing seeing your people did such a fine work in Novemyats. Oh, and I mean it sincerely. Seems like we don't have much time left. Oh no. I I know what's coming. I know what's coming.
Miss Gruntress.
No, Miss Cornerstone. Did you leave something behind? The storm is about to fall.
I know, but I.
Understand, the last transport vehicle won't arrive for another 5 minutes. The moment everyone's gathered, you'll take off immediately. If you miss it, you'll have to find your own way back to headquarters.
Thank you.
Cornerstone, you're back. What's happening? Why is everyone running outside? I didn't chase anyone out, did I? I. Cornerstone didn't know how to explain any of this. Yes, I'm back. I went to the old expo site. There's a building up there, left behind by an architect I really admire. It was torn down more than 50 years ago and rebuilt again just last year. I made a special trip to go see it yesterday. The last time I saw it, I was still a minor. So you're over 60 years old? No, I have to tell this joke to Grindress, and then I'll call this whole category of joke storm joke. I know something's going to destroy this place, including me. Yes, the storm. And then all of you have to hide inside another building. And then all of you have to hide inside another building. Uh, yes, only the building can shelter us from the storm. That must have been an amazing building. I still have a future. If I still have a future, I'd want to become an amazing building like that too. That way, people won't have to rush away from here in such a hurry.
We... We can't take you with us. I'm so...
No, it's just like you said. Maybe 10,000 years ago, when some Sapiens put up a small shelter from the rain on a whim, the concept of architecture was born. Stasha, I still don't have a name, but I really like the name building.
I was so happy that I could shield you from the wind and rain, even if it was only for a short while. Goodbye.
Goodbye, my friend.
I will definitely come back here. I will definitely build you as an architect. Why do people create buildings?
Oh.
Huh? Do you want the standard textbook answer? Or my more personal opinion? Either is fine. Let me think. For humans, the very first architecture must have been defensive in nature, much like how arcanists trace the origins of witchcraft. To defend against wild beasts, to defend against other humans, to keep out the wind and rain, people dug out cave after cave, living dimly inside them. A space created to meet a need. That was humanity's first definition of architecture. But the real problem happened after that. Maybe one day, a human who couldn't make it back into the cave in time got caught in pouring rain, and all she could do was snap off a few tree branches and prop up a structure that could barely hold the rainwater. And right then, she found that compared to the Safi cave, this little world beneath the rain shelter still received a gentle light, and she could see the curtain of rain right within arm's reach through tender leaves. From that moment on, architecture and people were no longer simply a relationship between tool and user. The former gradually became a medium through which the latter experienced nature and beauty.
Wow!
Is that a true story? Unfortunately, that's just a little educational fairy tale I just made up on the spot. The concept has a strict definition in textbooks. Caves, thatched huts. These are regular subjective origins of architecture, ugly as they are. Maybe a romantic story like that really did happen somewhere in history.
The concept of architecture was born in that moment.
And do not be cruel to me. I have one piece of good news and three or more pieces of bad news. I'd like to hear the good news first.
Well then,
First, congratulations on surviving and on not leaving anyone waiting around at that store for your late drops. Just like it was some kind of tearful farewell.
I appreciate your concern.
You make it sound like I'm the type to drag the entire busload of people along just to wait for me to deliver a heartfelt goodbye. Then the rest is all bad news.
honestly,
I believe this design is good enough to leave its mark on architectural history. I mean, if people who write those books could actually know what a storm is. I rarely say things like this, but the proposal you submitted really was worth that month-long wait.
however,
The Storm Memorial Project itself has been cancelled.
I see.
I'm not surprised. The latest storm cost the foundation dearly too. We no longer have the resources to keep investing in this project. Some ill-intentioned extreme pure blood arcanists are claiming that the storm cycle will only keep getting shorter.
Oh,
That's really not good news for the architecture industry. The local investigators in Barcelona took a look on your behalf. That building, your architect friend didn't leave a single trace behind. It's just an empty field there now. Laplace has made major breakthrough with teleportation formulas, so upper management decided there's no need to keep pursuing Miss Rosella's project,
in other words,
which means no more offices with this prefabricated slab structure will be built. Once the foundation methods for handling the storm became more mature, I imagine this small failed plan won't be mentioned by anyone ever again. Swept into a pile of unwanted scrap paper just like all the other impractical failures. That doesn't surprise me either.
so
Did my leave of absence request get approved?
I already told you.
There's no more good news. And what exactly do you think I am? Your back door into the foundation? How could I? You're still the only precious subject I can study when it comes to understanding German humor. Too bad it looks like you didn't laugh enough. You didn't laugh at that storm joke.
Honestly,
You know, I always feel like something's missing upstairs in that head of yours. But that moment, I want to use, I want to use that to go after Arcanus. I sadly realize I'm one of you too. There's nothing left in Barcelona for you to find. Not your architect friend, not the Barcelona chair you've been longing for either.
Even so,
I'm still going to go. You've always known I'm like this.
I knew it.
Will everything go back to more normal, I wonder? I heard about what people look like when they perish in this storm. Their arms turning into ring after a ring. Their heads rolling to the ground, becoming perfect spears, rounder than the earth itself. What would you become, I wonder? A triangle? A rectangle with a little field shape drawn on it? Maybe a small chimney. Just like the kind of drawing every child has scribbled once.
A home.
People usually used to mean home. My dumb flashbang. This really isn't a good spot to build a house. I can't imagine how much trouble those cranes went through getting in here. Humid air, bird songs, even the spiders and lizards seem lively. This is a really nice spot. None of that meant anything to an architect. She simply lay down in the grass, letting the dirt smudge ev- every priceless fabric on her. Then she imagined some kind of solid foundation breaking through the skin, ripping the soil flatly, like root systems. She imagined her own body slowly swelling, the hands becoming extensions of her side, looking out at other things just as colossal as herself. The airport was no longer a possibility, but another kind of creature lying beside her. Its boundaries run strictly by a group of people who call themselves architects. Imagining herself becoming a building. Hello. What the? Can I just move it? Okay, I can move it. We get all of it. Yeah. We need to have it that there's 3 of this, so remove this first. Let's try to find where this all of this should come. I don't think I can rotate it, is it? I can't rotate it. This is suddenly okay. Let's try. I'm so stupid. I'm trying to bring this big blocks in the middle, but it just Professor. I mean, it's 1 a.m. dude on me. Brain kind of doesn't work. I really need more coffee. Professor, did you finish your design? I did. But it might never get built. Do you feel it's shame?
Architecture is eternal.
I can still sleep. It doesn't matter actually. Just lets me be awake for a bit. But I can still sleep very easily. It just allows me to control when I can sleep. No, because concepts. It's at night. It doesn't matter. Even it's around 2 hours. When I started the stream, 2 hours earlier than that. It's night for me. If anything, you should be congratulating your professor for finding even more things she wants to do. Is that so?
I hope.
I want to protect all of your ideas, all your dreams. No matter how terrible these designs might be, I still want them to reach as far back into the past as possible. And I also want at least, and I also sleep very late. I sleep in the afternoon, so most of the time, so that makes my sleep very late in general. And I wake up very late and sleep very late and sleep in the afternoon. Those impractical, privileged amateurs, vulgar aesthetics. I'll plant them in. I'll plant them inside my own body, and I'll carry them past every single storm. Every echo mourns the old memories that have already been lost, and I will remember all of you, the noble ideas that should have blossomed and borne fruit in a millennium. No matter where we end up returning to, no matter how heavy the weight of history behind us, how valuable it may be. Congratulations, Professor. Congratulations, Stasha.
Roja?
I am but a whisper.
When the light soak into your consciousness, like while took up residence in your heart. I am Dufasha. I am Russia. I'm also part of Everett. I'm everyone you've ever loved, everyone you've ever longed for. Goodbye, Stasha. The path you've chosen is a beautiful one.
Goodbye.
That's really short. Yeah, that's only really too short now. I imagine this last one too. Or Bloom. I think this must have hit her pretty hard. I still remember the housing designs she drew for the local people. I don't know anything about architecture, but I feel like those houses would have been really comfortable to live in. But these. I told you this woman can possibly a real architect. All her designs must have been drawn by someone else. Oh, that sounds pretty bad. What if Cornerstone raced ahead of all those famous architects and designed every one of their masterpieces before they were even born? That would be a terrible thing for humanity.
I appreciate your concern.
I, but I think I hear someone spreading rumors about me. Joshua, a long time no see. Looks like these 2000s futurism concept designs got to see you before I did.
What is it?
I can't make heads or tails of this. I'm worried something happened to you.
Huh?
For instance, why you'd use this heavily three-dimensional oversized rainbow gradient technique to design a typeface. Where is it? What we do something? It's really bad for my eyes. Historical material from 1999 is precious stuff. We should all rent or appreciate this lost art of the future.
Our aesthetics are going to be way behind the times when we get back to 1999.
Uh, what did Miss Grundress say about it? She refused to comment. Figured as much. As much.
All right then.
How's Grandma Olga been feeling lately? I haven't heard from any of you in a while. She's doing fine. After the last storm, the Foundation brought us into various branches as people who know about the storm. Olga helps out with things that need coordinating and communicating with local residents, while the rest of us mostly help with manual work. The kids are all healthy, and the food here is a lot better than it was back in Novamiets.
I'm glad to hear that.
I heard you had a pretty extraordinary experience in Barcelona. Even the Laplace head has taken quite an interest. And this anecdote about an awakened. We can talk about it over dinner tonight. By tomorrow, I'll be flying off somewhere else again. Looks like you're still keeping busy even though foundation architectural commissions should be mostly on hold right now. Your information network is as sharp as ever.
Well,
I'm planning to travel all over the world, cataloging and recording buildings for documenting, even ones that only exist in this particular era. Aside from being a great learning opportunity for me, I figured there's also chance I might stumble across some other point irreversible along the way, right?
Hmm.
We usually call that the blind cat stumbles into a dead mouse method of investigation.
Fill out these visitor registration forms. All of you.
Nobody's getting out of this.
wait.
We finally managed to all get together, and your first instinct is to rush us into filling out these long, tedious forms.
So,
That's.
still,
Your idea really isn't bad, actually.
honestly,
The era out there really is going reversed. Uh, they, at least based on the current pattern of the storm, maybe someday those landmark brutalist buildings you're so fond of will grow newer and newer until they disappear completely. Uh, I don't quite understand that. Shouldn't things get older and older until they vanish? Not in the storm. Well, seems like this world has finally stopped being satisfied with just killing off the old. The old will die of old age, and anything too new will get drowned by the rain. That's the world we live in now.
certainly.
Sounds full of challenges. Maybe this is the world's best suited for middle-aged people to survive in. Only if what counts is acting like a middle-aged person, not just being one. I don't know what you're implying with that, but according to the Foundation regulations, anyone who has completed visitor registration and clearance is committing trespass by entering the area outside the lobby, including the dining hall. I'm actually quite afraid of flying. Whenever the plane banks, making a turn and tilting slightly off the horizon, I always feel like the next second we're going to flip over and plunge straight into the ground. The sky outside the window disappears as the angle shifts, and we're forced to start looking down over the whole city. But in that moment, I forget my fear. But it's a cluster of buildings stacked brick by brick by countless workers, and among them, no shortage of architects like me poured their hearts into the planning and verification. In the end, they gather into a net woven from light, just like the one I saw in Novamiets. Modern urban planning always has to face one thing: the retreat of nature from the city. We've had to plant streetlights and neon signs everywhere, spreading light pollution. People can no longer see the ancient, beautiful stars.
But that flight taught me one thing. The stars never truly left us. All we did was pluck them from the sky and sew them into the ground. When passengers on an airplane look down over our city at night, they see a glittering galaxy below. I hope that you'll watch over us like them from above. All my friends and family.
That's a beautiful story, dude. We have no instance of Awakens having storm variants, right?
Be quiet for a moment.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be watching the CN stream. So it's how gonna be more and also 5 minutes early. Don't know why they do that. Uh, but I'll have this global stream also on the screen. Uh, so you can see it there. But is that and probably more than that. I just mentioned that, but there's probably more. There are also like merch that might only show up on CN. 3.9 teaser on the trailer. I'll upload the CN version of the trailer. Oh, right. But that's really it. No. I don't think even if with no matter how many leaks there is, or even if there's no leaks, I don't think we're ever catching up to the end because the collab patches is they're being, it's like very literally special patches. They call it special patches. Special 01, special 02. And it's the only one that is at the same time synchronized. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Between school walls and magic borders, but every storm she couldn't outrun left a shadow shaped like home. She learned to breathe through sirens calling, to step aside while empires are falling. Between the white, between the rules, she stayed herself, she stayed true. What if I met you after the rain? What if the loss was never in vain? What if the storm rewinds our plans and leaves us standing where we began? What if I met you after the rain? What if the loss was never